My name is Vera Obonyo. I'm the Deputy Director at Kenya School of Government. We handle specifically from the E-Learning and Development Institute, which handles IT, e-learning, and knowledge management. So today, I'm going to take you through a research that we have done as a school. I just want to reiterate, this is done at a school level, and I have been assisted by quite a number of people from the institute and from the school as we carry out research. And I had wanted to mainly focus on state corporations. This is something that's done, a research that we did on state corporations in Kenya and the application of cyber security measures. And maybe, I think we've had this background quite a bit. Maybe we can go to the next slide. We had this a lot from yesterday. Just a quick background. Could we have the next slide, please? Thank you. Where this was really mentioned yesterday a lot, I don't want to underscore, to repeat, but we talked about the need for cybersecurity, which has been given by AU, and also the major, some of just, not all, but some of the legal and regulatory frameworks that have been put in place for cybersecurity. I think we had NC4 do quite a bit of this yesterday, so I'll not belabor that, but that just gives a background for why we need to do cybersecurity. Thank you. We'll go to the next slide, please. And so even as we look at that, what are we looking for? What was the problem that we were looking at for this particular study? One, we were looking at, we know that governments, specifically even as they continue to grow, there are three things that they do want to do. They not only want to do the social, the economic, but also they want to make sure that the governance procedures are in place, and especially more for this country as we continue to move towards digitizing our services. And so the problem now becomes, how do you balance then access to the services as opposed to securing them? Then it becomes a very delicate balance. And more so because government really is, should I say, has the largest data. And not only that, we have data about everybody, so to speak. And another challenge that's there is that government has a lot of legacy systems which are vulnerable. And not only that, it means that then, I think as has been pointed out, then one of the key people and one of the key targets that we wanted to look at was state corporations. Mainly because state corporations usually, especially the commercial and the regulatory, tend to be the ones who can invest more in, should I say, in cybersecurity, mainly because of the financial and the stronger arm they have. And so we found that this was a better target for us to start off with. And I do want to say that we did this research in stages. We have focused one on state corporations. This has been over the year. We have also done one for county governments. So we do have the different findings, but for this one, I'm focusing mainly on state corporations. We are going to maybe eventually do a comparison between the two, but these are findings from state corporations. And one of the things, again, like would say is that, I think I'm not going to repeat that, but basically for the second bit is that despite the effort that state corporations have put in investing in cyber security, we know that there are a lot of limitations, especially for financial, human, and infrastructure. And so when we were doing this research, one of the things we really wanted to do was, let's look at the current trends that are there within state corporations. What is it that is the status, and what is it that they are facing? And of course, once you look at the challenges, we can be able to do the recommendations and then come up with the capacity building initiatives. And that for us is core, because as Kenya School of Government, we are mandated to train the public service in Kenya. And that means both the national and the county government. And given the importance that I think you're not moving with me. We are on the 5th slide. I think I need to remember to say next slide, next. Please, let's go. Yes, there we are. Thank you. So we need to be able to make sure that the programs that we are developing definitely address the need that is there in the market. And that's why we wanted to carry out a research so that we are able to do a lot of, develop, should I say, client-specific programs. And just a brief, why that? I think those of you who are interested in research might want to look at that. I'll not go into details, but we have 262 state corporations. Under State Corporations Act, we were able to do the stratified sample. We came up with our population, and as we can see, the bias in IT, there were 75% who are male and 25% who are female. But the main questionnaire had 8 sessions, which I'll just want to touch on briefly. I want to emphasize that this is not a detailed presentation because we have the entire report. But I just want to focus some things that might be of attention to us when we look at the cybersecurity personnel that we have. And I also want to say, you can go to the next slide, the 8 focus areas, that this is not, should I say, we are not, it's not a research to bring down any state corporation. Please, next slide, please. Yes, thank you. But we are here just to look at the needs that we want and how are we going to address them in the market. So as we just briefly go through, I know I don't have too much time. Benjamin, I'll make sure I stick to my time. Next slide. When we looked at the human resource departments, you can see these are questions that were answered specifically to mid and senior level managers in state corporations. And you can see 60% of the respondents say that they do not have dedicated information security staff. And that, of course, has implications. I'll just run you through the findings very quickly. Next slide. The human resource, the adequacy of the knowledge and skills, it's very close because 47% said no, they actually do not have adequate skills. 49% said yes, they do. So there was a small gap of about 3% in the middle who, should I say, about 10 who did not respond quite. But you can see the gap is quite high. For 47% to say that they do not have adequate skills, then that, of course, is an issue of concern. We can go to the next one. We looked at the vulnerability of cybersecurity, the number of times that they have suffered, should I say, major attacks in the last 12 months. And you can see 49% of them are in the between 1 and 10. 43%, which is very good, have said none. And so the level is not too bad. At least we have quite a number who were not very, should I say, were not very compromised, but still it's a bit high. Also, the time that it took them to recover, you can see at least 17% said it took them about, within minutes, they were able to quickly come up. Another, say, between 1 day, and then you can see as it goes down, then there were fewer who said that it took them between a month or 2 or more than 3 months. And then another thing, the frequency of testing. How often do they test their systems? We also had a high number of people who may not necessarily be performing tests as quickly or as efficiently as they do. And we know that's a very important area for your security. So the frequency of testing is reflected there. The network security management, what they do they have penetration testing, audits, vulnerability assessments, none, and those who don't know at all. At least the number who said none was very small. That's about 3%. And then there are just a few who were not sure whether or not they actually do. But you can see most of them at least are able to do the testing. And then in terms of monitoring, again, that is what we put there, and you can see the findings. There are just a few who might not be doing as much, but we have a large number of people who also have outsourced. And we use this mainly as basics. Like I say, we have a lot more detail in the bigger report, where we ask them about more specific things, whether they have a few others in place. This one was how ready are they for, so in terms of security readiness? Do they find that they are prepared? At least a very good number. You'd say about 80% feel that they are ready. 45% are in the middle, and then we have about 30 and 6% who say that they are very ready. We go to the next one, next slide, which talks about preparedness. Do they have business continuity plans in place? 69%, yes, they do. 20% actually don't, and 11% are not sure. And then the policies and regulations, which are important. Do they have documented and approved measures in place? I think, and this one we asked them to choose about 3. So the ones that they have in place, the highest number were those who have a BCP, they have network security policies, and then they have a computer use policy. A privacy policy and a computer incidents and response plans were the ones that received the lowest. And then in terms of auditing and testing, we also asked them to give us feedback on how they determine their security weaknesses, the risks, and the compliance. Of course, most of them are able to do it through internal audits, meaning that they do find that they have the capabilities to be able to carry that out. A number of them also do it from the peers, and a few who depend on vendors. Capacity building, the main requirements here that were put in was the knowledge of networking and systems seemed to have been one of the areas that they really want the capacity building in intelligence and analysis skills that the organization requires. And we go down their number, they need familiarity with commercial tools, they need malware analysis skills, ability to write correlational rules, and also knowledge of their adversaries. So what are the main challenges that they find? I think this one goes across all organizations. One is always budget. Nobody ever seems to have enough money. I don't know whether there's enough money in private or public sector. Nobody ever has enough money for cybersecurity. So that is not unique to government. Another thing that we have had repeatedly is one, lack of awareness. Not many people are aware about cybersecurity. So there needs to be a need to create awareness. Another thing, again, of course, is skilled personnel. And so these 3 are not unique specifically to public sector and to state corporations. They cut across everybody. And those are some of the things that we believe might need to be addressed, especially through capacity building. And so some of the recommendations that we got from this study, both from the respondents and from the school, is there is a need for, specifically here we're addressing state corporations to undertake regular risk assessments. They need to increase their investments, definitely. They need to increase investments in applications. Very, very critical, which is what has been coming throughout here, is increase in human capital and enhancing security awareness. Then develop a comprehensive security strategy. They need to implement strong controls, and they need to foster collaboration. I think these have been repeated since yesterday, and especially the bit I emphasize: capacity building, developing skilled personnel, and collaboration. And collaboration here is not just within government, but also with the private sector. And so the capacity building initiatives that we are recommending for this particular one, there are very many, but out of what we did, this seemed to be the core. In terms of the technical programs, there's a need for incident analysis and response, network security, vendor-specific training. I think we had Sangfo, who are here in the morning, telling us about the solutions they have. We have certified training. There's ISACA, who do offer quite a number. We also have IC Council with their EH. So there's a very big need for specific certified training. And then for non-technical training, one of the things that comes out is that cybersecurity is not just an IT thing. It needs to be embraced by everybody in the organization. So there's need for IT awareness training, especially among the non-technical staff. Because many times you go and you find that is an IT problem. They say, pelekea IT, sio yetu. Take to IT, that's not us. But IT, when you talk about cybersecurity, there's a need to create awareness among everybody and build a culture of cyber hygiene. There also needs to be training, specifically for management, and we are looking at developing programs for management. Because if you don't have the buy-in from management, and they don't see the importance of it, regardless of what you do as an IT person, you're not going to get the support, the financial support you need to invest in the infrastructure, in the software, and also to get the staff that you want. Another, of course, very important thing is staff retention incentives, because IT staff are very volatile. You train them, especially we've seen that in state corporations, you train them, they're very good, and even if you give them you tie them, you bind them for 2 years or whatever. Whoever is taking them will pay it off until you come, let's go. So state corporations have become a very good training ground for people and also the first source of, should I say, targeted phishing, if I can use that word. So there is a need to also develop incentives to be able to retain the staff that we have within state corporations. And as damning as that might seem, I want to reiterate yesterday when it was being presented, and they did make reference to the ITU response. I don't know whether many of you read the report from ITU, that Kenya is actually doing quite well. We are second in Africa after Ghana. And if they talk about that in terms of the country, that means not only the private sector, but also the public sector is not doing too badly. But that still means that there's a lot of training that needs to be done, specifically in some of the areas that we've mentioned, but there's a bigger need to train people, both the IT, not only this room, the people who are in IT, but extend it to the non-technical IT staff. So thank you. I think we'll be taking questions later.
Thank you, Vera. We have gained momentum, so we're doing 10 minutes. Next, Fortinet.
Still morning or afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Gishoi. I'm the team lead for system engineers at Fortinet East Africa. And it's a pleasure to meet you all and take you through my presentation of the day. So Fortinet has sponsored the Cyber Week. And it's an interesting time because a few years back, cybersecurity was still not considered important by many organizations and many policymakers. But today, it's a week that is dedicated to cyber, and I'm very proud that we are getting this opportunity to talk about cybersecurity and how we can partner together to actually foster the cybersecurity of the country and organizations at large. So, sorry, my clicker is not working. Okay. Okay, thank you. So a little bit about Fortinet. So Fortinet is a leading cybersecurity company. It's a US-based company with local presence. So we've got a local office here of around 22 staff, and we are growing, and we have a valid customer base from all the industries in the country, whether government, commercial, BFSI, telco. So as a company, we've got a strong presence and strong offerings in terms of cyber security and coverage in the market. So as a company also, we've invested in a lot of research centers, R&D centers, support centers to support our solutions and services. So as a customer, as an organization, you can be rest assured that we are providing you services 24/7 around the clock, and you can be able to get services from as close to you as possible and in different regions. So Fortinet has a rich portfolio, and the portfolio can be summarized, as you can see in this slide deck. So we've got solutions that marry around network and security. So because we believe that today you cannot run networks without security, having security as part of the network. So we've got solutions around secure networking. Then we've got solutions around SASE. So SASE is a concept that was championed a lot by Gartner, and it's taking a very big and a great leap. So Secure Access Service Edge, as you'll see, the solutions around SASE is part of our portfolio. And most importantly, SecOps, that is the AI-driven Security Operations Center. We've got solutions that are actually geared towards early detection, threat investigation, and remediation for any organizations. And all these solutions talk to each other to give you full visibility, automated response for your organization. Okay, so Fortinet delivers unparalleled innovation. So from our own OS, which is called FortiOS, to our custom ASICs, and these are geared towards aggregating and converging network and security services to provide performance in terms of security, inspection, and acceleration, to cloud services that are actually geared towards aggregating the SASE platform, so in our FortiCloud program. Then we've got FortiAI. So as the previous presenter was talking about, a lot of challenges in terms of skill gap, in terms of, let's say, fatigue, alert fatigue, and so forth. We need AI that can be able to bring that capability to automatically, let's say, see and respond to these incidences. And a lot of other functionalities that we've brought into our portfolio, and most importantly, Fabric ecosystem partnership. We actually know that organizations have already started their cybersecurity journey, and Fortinet can come and complement what they have without a forklift upgrade in that case. So Fortinet AI innovations are geared towards several benefits to a customer. Number one is contextual Gen AI. So this is to improve product optimization. So obviously, for security analysts, they can interact with AI to automatically correlate, to automatically investigate and correlate some other sort of security incidents that they are receiving. Fortinet has been using AI for over 10 years to get contextual information and put them into valid, let's say, threat updates to our security products and to our partner ecosystem. So in terms of threat intelligence, we are using AI in a big way, and this is, that is what we call big data AI. In terms of network operation, we are doing self-healing networks. So today, we want to reduce the time to troubleshoot. Our biggest issue is uptime and business continuity. So AI must bring and bridge that gap in terms of building self-healing networks in that case. And obviously, our AI has security, so we don't want it to leak into other machine learning language models. So this is more of generative AI for most SOC and NOC functionalities. So Fortinet leads also in terms of validation. We are one of the most validated platforms. So you can see here across different validation platforms, we've got solutions in leadership, in challenger positions, meaning that you can be able to trust our portfolio being mature and being able to come and fit right into your cybersecurity strategy. In terms of customers, I'm not going to talk about the global 100 customer base that we secure. I'm going to talk about, let's say, the local landscape. So in East Africa, with our office starting in 2015 in East Africa, we've got now around almost 4,700 customers, big and small in East Africa. So you can see that we are reaching out to as many customers as possible, and our solutions can fit a customer's security strategy, whether big or small. So in terms of innovation, you can see here, so these are some of the top cyber players in the market. So Fortinet actually ingests like almost 20 patents each quarter, meaning that we lead in innovation, and these innovations come to improve our products, and the customers can benefit from these innovations in terms of cybersecurity. We not only lead in cyber, but we lead also in global sort of sustainability projects. So, for example, we are part founder of the Cyber Threat Alliance. We contribute in the MITRE Ingenuity, and we share intelligence with Interpol and other relevant bodies in the world. So we are also very green. So we actually look at going green in our data centers by 2030, and globally for all our products by 2050 to meet the Pledge Net Zero campaign and strategy. During COVID, our CEO opened up our training platform to the world. So each and every one of you can go to training.fortinet.com. The training content for all our products and cybersecurity awareness training is free. So we are aiming at reaching and pledging 1 million cybersecurity professionals through our training institute by 2026. And as a company, we follow strict guidelines in terms of manufacturing and ethics. So in terms of certifications, we follow the ethics in business conduct and manufacturing, and this makes us a trusted partner with you. So enough about Fortinet, and let me now focus on our vision and our offering that we can give to any organization, whether it's government or a business organization. This slide has been covered by the previous presenter. I was sitting there and I was smiling and I was saying, these are global challenges. So we're seeing challenges around budgets. We've seen challenges around organizations taking digital transformation journey. So as they embrace that technology, as they go out into digital transformation, it means we are expanding our cybersecurity landscape. And as Fortinet and other vendors are using machine learning and AI to actually protect organizations, the bad actors are also using machine learning and AI to create sophisticated campaigns and attacks. So the threat landscape out there and the challenges to customers are great and immense. And what Fortinet is doing here now in terms of an organization is to align with those strategies. So to summarize the challenges that we have today, we are seeing the applications are becoming cloudy. So all applications, all core applications, we are being forced to go cloudy. So when these applications go cloudy, we can't audit. We can't apply the necessary security policies as if we were hosting the applications themselves. The user now is becoming dynamic. He can connect to any application with any device from anywhere. So how do we apply cybersecurity policies to this kind of hybrid workforce? And how can we have a uniform security policy across, right? And we've got the problems of IoT devices. IoT devices in the networks are growing, and they've got end vulnerabilities. These are extended vulnerabilities that the bad actors can act upon. So how do we cover all these challenges? And that's where Fortinet's vision is aligned to be able to actually protect such hybrid and complex environments. So we started by what we do, we call secure networking. Remember, everything is carried by the network, whether it's the user accessing the application or all these things connecting to our data centers. The same security network needs security in it. So what we did here was to merge network and security functions in one platform, in a platform called Secure Networking. And then build now the other cybersecurity as a platform around the secure networking portfolio. So as you can see here, we've got the whole cybersecurity ecosystem as a platform. And why do we want to do a platform is to have end-to-end cybersecurity visibility, to have control, and to have automated response as the ultimate goal of the solution. Sorry, you'll just assist me because I can't move the slide. Next. Okay. So to put this in perspective, what we've done here is to build the necessary platforms, as you can see down here, to assist our vision. So in terms of performance, we've manufactured our own ASICs. We've got our own threat intelligence called FortiGuard that actually is one of the biggest threat research organizations that we have in the market. And all these are geared towards now having a platform. So the platform is whether you are building or you are starting your cybersecurity journey, we would start by securing your network, then go to secure your users and application, and then add now the SOC tools that will be able to investigate, be able to give you early detection, be able to actually investigate incidents and remediate your infrastructure. This becomes a platform because it shares a common intelligence, it shares a common platform in terms of orchestration and offering for your cybersecurity needs. Okay, sorry. So if you look at the portfolio now, you can see the different portfolio of products within each platform. So this is a rich offering that we have, that we can go to any customer and complement exactly what you need to cover your cybersecurity needs and visibility. So remember, the objective, and before you actually build a security policy, you must enhance your visibility. Security without visibility is not security at all. So ours is to give you full visibility and allow you to build control mechanisms and security operations around your business and security needs. So I'll go through some use cases before I wrap up my presentation. So one of the use cases here is around the network. So network security can be offered in terms of firewall use cases, where we can look at different edges. So today we've got the branch edge, we've got the campus edge, the data center edge, we've got the cloud edge, we've got a lot of edges that we can be able to deploy our firewalling to. So this is where we can mitigate against network-borne threats. So whether it's in the public cloud, your private cloud, or even your different sort of edges, we can be able to apply our firewall use cases in different form factors to secure your network security. The other use case is around IoT and, The other use case is around operation technology and IoT. So remember, you are carrying things that are connected to your production network. And these things are not built with security in mind. You cannot install a security agent on your camera. You cannot install a security agent in your SCADA network, for example. So we have to think about micro-segmentation. We have to think about building a resilient network sort of security so that we can be able to protect those infrastructure. Something like virtual patching at the network level, where you've got critical network that you cannot be able to patch quickly, is something that we can be able to do. The other thing is about the user and application. Irrespective of where you are in terms of accessing the application, we've got SD-WAN, and we've got secure remote access, we've got private access, and even thin branches to ensure that the user can access the application quickly and optimally. We've got the SaaS use cases that we have. Okay? And lastly, as I talk about the SecOps, so this is where you've already built the different defense mechanisms. but you want now to do threat investigation. You want to be able to do auto-remediation functionalities. So we've got different tools that can be able to enable your organization to go around that cyber resiliency and automated response functionality. So Fortinet is the only vendor that can be able to build, as I show you the last slide, a journey. So the journey here is to understand the cybersecurity attack chain. So here you can look at the MITRE framework that documents the pre-attack and the post-attack or during the attack phase. And we can be able to guide you into which platform that can be deployed at each stage to kill the cyber attack or the attacker's influence in your network. So the idea here is to build a cyber resilient infrastructure that can be able to mitigate the threats early, investigate, and automatically remediate your organization. So that, together with our security services and support and professional services from our team, can be able to make sure that we've got an actionable security policy that can be enforced in your organization to combat all sorts of threats. So that was my presentation, as short as it was, with the short time that I was given. We are looking forward to meeting you at our booth. If you have any other question as to how we can partner with you, kindly find us at our booth and we'll gladly receive you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, George. As we welcome Dr. Stanley Githinji, I have two announcements to make. Dr. Stanley from USIU, please, yes, come. The announcements are short. For questions, comments, inquiries, suggestions about national cybersecurity issues, send email to dnjoga@nc4.go.ke. I'll repeat. Email dnjoga@nc4.go.ke. That's one. Cybersecurity Auditing Masterclass. It's beginning at 2 p.m. It's at the press room on, next floor. Cybersecurity Auditing Masterclass, 2 p.m., press room. Thank you. Karibu Daktari.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stanley Githinji. I will be doing a presentation in regards to cryptographic key management, so that we can look at the questions that have been raised in terms of securing infrastructure in more of research-based and also seeing what's the future for those things. I request the team there just to share. It's on Cyber Week. Yes. Okay. All right, thank you. So I just want to talk about application of AI and basically in what is referred to as federated learning. Might be a new concept, but I just want to put it in this way that in security, the cornerstone of it is usually in cryptographic key management, how you assign your keys, how you dispute the keys. So we are bringing another aspect of AI to see how can we adopt some of these concepts like federated learning to make it more secure and to make the system to be more robust. Could be disconnected. So the federated learning and key management, it's actually getting to know the maths behind encryption and decryption process. Because at the end of the day, whether you are doing sharing of data in a network, the attack will come in the channel, or the attack will come at the processing point. So some of the key concepts as they fix it is that there are quite fundamental math computations that will be necessary in key management. One of them is what we refer to as modular exponential. I'm sure every time you pick a number and you raise it to power of something, mod something. So the encryption process, what it does is that you are trying to raise a number to a certain value. So that value could be the private key in the decryption process. In the encryption process is usually the public key. So please go to that slide. Yeah, so the key management become very fundamental. And we have different encryption protocols like secret key cryptography and public key cryptography. But I want to deal much on the SKC and PKC because you're dealing with different parties. These parties, someone mentioned they have checked on SHA and you could see the public key. There's nothing wrong in her. You'll be able to see the public key. The key issue is how will you be able to derive your private key from that public key. So the next concept, please go to the next slide. The fundamental of this is the key exchange. How do you exchange these keys? How do you derive the keys? Which mathematical function are you using to generate the keys? Because at the end of the day, the algorithm is known, the encryption key is what you're looking for, and you have the ciphertext. So it's actually depending on your computational resources that you use now to decrypt the message. So if advancement of quantum computing, advancement in increase in computational power, it becomes very easy now for attackers to be able to regenerate the keys for decryption. And as I mentioned from my previous slide that was in the... So on this aspect is that the key management become quite the main thing that you need to consider. And this should be applied in all the institutions. I think the companies that are providing this product, there's a big need for integrating R&D in development of your solutions. And this is one way of looking at the model that you're using or the framework that you're using. How best do they suit in regards to protection of data? And see, federated learning offers a collaborative machine learning across decentralized devices for safeguarding data privacy. So we have government agencies, people are decrypting data that is coming from different sectors. But how is information from SHA and from any other NC4 and the rest, how are you cooperating each other to be able to improve on the processes or to be able to improve on the encryption of data without compromising the privacy of that? So use of these AI models become quite critical in this. So these some little bit parts of it, but at the back end, this is what happens. So you have, every time you raise a number to a power of something, we would see, you're actually creating a ciphertext of that message. So the decryption process is the reverse of it. And you can see from the computation there, so if you raise something, let's say to power of 90, you could see the numbers as you increase those numbers. So what you're saying here is that these numbers need to be generated, the 90 and 256 need to be generated in a secure way of sharing those keys. Because if, for instance, you generate 90 and the attacker is able to use it 256, so your system should be in a position to learn from that gets you to 256, and then readjust itself. So I think the previous presenter talked about self-healing. So it means that the system needs to have its own way of regenerating that key or blocking that and using different mode of keys. So in this scenario for federated learning, you can see from that diagram, you have the data source, you have a firewall, regardless of whichever type of firewall you are using in your system. But you can see as you upload data, you're encrypting data, that data, first of all, goes to a certain model. So that because you are generating, the person who is generating that, they're using the encryption key, which is a public key. But the person who is doing on the other side, receiving the message, they're actually using the private key to decrypt. But before they decrypt, what have you learned from the previous messages that were being decrypted? What is the pattern? So that pattern, you can now use it now to work on the final model that can be used for each part. So actually you're saying that each and every part in the communication, because you're dealing with trusted networks that are not trusted, you have to always be able to see what is your input to making our network secure. What is the input in making our network secure? So it means that if you're integrating, let's say, a certain hardware or certain software in your network, the processes that are happening inside that, how are you sharing that information so they can build a machine learning model using a concept like federated learning to secure that. So lastly, it says that the decryption process is optimizing these models. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it's only the people who have the right key who are able to decrypt the message. And if those who don't have the mandate to decrypt the message, how are you able to help other nodes to be able to alert them of a possible crypto analysis that is going to happen? So the only thing can be done is on doing such models, ensuring that you don't trust any node in the network, but we're using that information to help you improve on the mathematical computations of your resources. So basically all these kind of encryption and decryption processes, machine learning and this aspect of federated learning is going to play a big role in how institutions manage their keys, how you dispute your keys, and then how you manage the whole process in that. So I did that was my small presentation, but I hope I've drawn some interest on the core aspect of what you need to learn in every time you're managing the keys, every time you're doing an encryption process, every time you're getting a product from whichever company. Does it help you, or how does it process the aspect of key management? Because we always say that your system is only secure if, or based on the algorithm that you're using for encryptions, and also the technique that you're using to generate the key, and how you dispute those keys. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Dr. Gakombe, Metropolitan Hospital.
Good afternoon. I have to confess that I floated through Dr. Githinji's presentation. And I stand here primarily as a consumer and a creator of the opportunities that many of you will be working on in the years to come. I run Metropolitan Hospital, but that's not the primary reason that I'm here. On top of running the hospital, I am involved in the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. I'm involved in the Murang'a County Healthcare System, which some of you may know is undergoing complete digitization and wants to lead the rest of the country in digitization. I'm the chair of the Kenya Healthcare Federation, which has a digital health committee, and I design software for healthcare. Please move. So, in the healthcare space, and we are just but an example of so that's Metropolitan, but it's just like many other hospitals. It is, and that's a group that owns it. And that's where we do surgery. And as you can see, even the theaters are digitized. Your information goes in there, and it's our job to attempt to protect it from those who should not be accessing it. We are just part of Kenya's digital infrastructure. And for those of you who may remember, a lot of it started during the Kibaki regime, when we decided we would have an e-government, an e-economy. And the healthcare space and the land space are among the last to seriously on board. I'm basically skipping through some of this because for most of those who are Kenyans here, these are not new things. So, that was Kibaki time, and this is better time. And a lot has happened in the healthcare space, and that's where the opportunity is. A week ago, Kenya, the Ministry of Health, gave out a tender worth 104 billion to digitize the sector. And historically, providers, that is individuals like me, or hospitals, has operated as standalone institutions. So we did not need systems, we did not need cybersecurity. What we needed was a guard with a mallet or a rungu at the door, and a set of keys and a safe. But that will change in the next few months. And what are the changes? We are going to interconnect the entire system from factory, that is for commodities, to the patient. We are giving every Kenyan a single ID, your national health ID, so that whichever facility you go to, the data is interconnected. We are connecting every single provider to all other providers, and we are approximately 16,000 providers with 200,000 Kenyan healthcare professionals. So all this will have unique IDs, and the system is expected to be interconnected so that we can trace medicines from factory to the patient. Data that is being collected about any of us should all be put in one space to be accessible by anyone that needs to provide you with care, and all records are supposed to move from analog to digital. And therein lies the challenge. This gadget doesn't seem to like me. So especially for the youth who are looking for opportunities, as I said earlier, we are a sector that has been left behind. The banks connected a long time ago. Many other sectors have been interconnected, but for the health sector, it will happen in future. And it is happening without option, because we have the Digital Health Act, we have the Digital Health Agency, we have the Health Information Exchange that will be handling the combined data of the 50 million Kenyans we have in this country. And so there are opportunities, and they come from a number of factors. One is that we are moving from provider to patient-centered care. It will be about you. Two is telemedicine is becoming a reality, and that's what Murang'a County is implementing as we speak. We are moving from analog to digital systems, including the machines that we use, and we'll generate a lot of data. And that then creates opportunities and comes with certain challenges, ethics and social challenges, because you all have to accept to move from the way we've been working to the new one. We have technical challenges, not least of which is keeping the systems up and running. And in Murang'a, we are facing quite a number of challenges with unstable electricity and unstable networks. We are busy trying to implement solar. And of course, there are governance challenges. And it is for these reasons that we are looking to the people in this space, to those in AI, to those in who act as a bridge between healthcare and tech, to give us solutions, to ensure that we can safely transit from the current to the future. And please remember that many healthcare providers are cottage industries, standalone doctors, standalone clinics. They probably may not have a single IT person on the premises. So they'll be depending a lot on solutions that can be implemented through third-party contracting and support. This you all know. So I will not expend any energy on telling you how we get breached. The most important point I want to make as I finish is that personal health data is very, very, very critical data. It can determine careers, political and otherwise. It can determine health-seeking behavior, because if you're worried about a data breach, that your records will be all over the place, then chances are that you'll not seek care, especially for diseases that are stigmatized like mental illness or reproductive conditions. So it is critical, it is important that those whose job it is to protect information, digital information, work to ensure that the consumers and providers of healthcare can work in comfort and sleep at night knowing that whatever we are putting into systems is safe. My waking nightmare is Metropolitan getting a data breach. It's the one thing we cannot recover from. It bothers me all the time. We'll multiply that 16,000 times and then compound it by networking everyone. We need you to get us the protection we need. Thank you.
Wow. We have Mr. Emmanuel Carter, Ministry of ICT. Please welcome. Let's clap for Dr. Gakombe again. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to ride on the already established protocols. My name is Emmanuel Carter, Secretary, ICT Security and Audit Control at the State Department of ICT and Digital Economy under the Ministry of Information, Communications and the Digital Economy. So, I was just supposed to talk about governing public-private partnerships in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. That's a topic I'm handling. The theme of the conference is clear: cybersecurity, industry, workforce. So I won't take long. Go ahead. It is a great pleasure to be here today at this workshop, whose theme is cybersecurity industry workforce. As we navigate the rapidly evolving digital landscape, the intersection of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity has become increasingly critical to every technological institution. Effective governance of public-private partnerships in this domain is paramount in ensuring a secure and prosperous digital future for our nation. And we've just heard it from Dr. Gakombe saying he needs you. So that partnership is quite important, called collaboration. The complexity nature of cybersecurity threats and its adversaries demands a collaborative approach that leverages the unique strengths of both public and private actors. Public-private partnerships offer a powerful framework of sharing resources, expertise, and best practices to address common challenges that nations just like Kenya face. Through joining forces and being united, nations can confidently develop a more robust cybersecurity defense, foster innovation, and protect our critical infrastructure, which are a key enabler for our economic growth. And at here you can see already the government has a very ambitious program of digitizing almost all the systems. We want to eliminate paper from the office. We are doing an additional 100,000 kilometers of fiber in the country, of which 52,000 will be done by the government and 48,000 by the private sector. Well, that's a collaboration in that space. We're also putting hubs in all the 1,450 wards in Kenya, so as to enhance incubation and digital skilling all the way to the villages. We're also putting up 25,000 Wi-Fi hotspots all over the country. So it's quite ambitious, and with that, cybersecurity moves at the top, because the more you digitize, the more you need to secure. That's the default. Today's hacker and today's hacking is not about fame. It's a whole economy on its own. And statistics have shown clearly that if it were to be a true economy, it would be the third largest in the world after the US and China. And very soon, it will take up the #1 position. So it's quite important that we incorporate security at design when we are digitizing or when we are doing our networks. For us to ensure the success of PPPs in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, several key areas must be carefully considered. Establishment of a well-defined role and responsibilities is fundamental to avoid duplication of efforts and ensure accountability. Government can provide the regulatory framework and policy guidance, while on the other hand, private sector entities can contribute their technical expertise and innovative solutions. The effective use of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity often relies on the sharing of data. While we consume the data, privacy concerns must be addressed to protect sensitive information. Effective PPPs should be anchored on comprehensive risk management plans to identify, assess, and mitigate potential threats. In the event of a cybersecurity incident, effective incident response procedures are essential to contain damage and restore systems, hence ensuring business continuity. Strong collaboration between public and private sectors can drive innovation in AI and cybersecurity research as governments support research initiatives through funding and policy frameworks, while private sector entities can contribute their expertise and resources. Building a skilled cyber workforce is essential for success of PPPs. Governments can invest in education and training programs to develop the necessary skills, while private sector entities can provide internships and mentorship opportunities. In conclusion, governing public-private partnerships in AI and cybersecurity is not a walk in the park, but an essential task. Through collaboration, we can build a more secure and resilient digital ecosystem that benefits our nation and its citizens. I request all of us to commit to fostering collaboration, sharing best practices, and investing in talent development to ensure a prosperous future of Kenya in the age of AI and cybersecurity. Thank you, and God bless.
Let's clap again for Emmanuel. Francis Sitati, CA.
I sent you on WhatsApp. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Good afternoon, everybody. You'll bear with me, I have a bit of a flu. So I'll be taking you through, just in alignment with the theme, what the authority, our role in terms of cybersecurity. We look at issues of collaboration and also capacity building and awareness creation that we do. So my presentation, that's a quick overview of what my presentation will be about. We look at the mandate, what we've been doing with regard to our approach to cybersecurity, a quick overview of the functions of the National Cybersecurity Center, then the partnership programs that we have, and finally, we look at the strategic interventions. So, in terms of the legal and regulatory framework, the role of Communications Authority in terms of cybersecurity is given to us through 4 two major acts of parliament. We have the Kenya Information and Communications Act and the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, and of course the Computer Misuse, Critical Information and Cybercrime Management Regulations that were passed in February this year. So CA is mandated through the KICA to facilitate the investigation and prosecution of cybercrime. And by virtue of the recent regulations, we were mandated, the National KSAT, it was designated as the Cybersecurity Security Operations Center for the ICT and telecommunications sector. We're also mandated to facilitate the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of electronic transactions. So with regard to the countries in the world that have established national CERT, CA follows the ITU's, the International Telecommunications Union Global Cybersecurity Agenda. And this is a framework for international cooperation that is aimed at enhancing confidence and security of the information society, basically mitigating the improper use of ICTs. And if you can look at the table there, in Africa we have 19 nations that have national CERTs established. This represents about 43%. And as you go down, you look at the other percentages. So Africa needs quite a bit of catching up to do with regard to establishment of national CERTs. Moving on, we are focused on three major elements as with regard to our approach to cybersecurity. The first one is the element of people, where the National Cybersecurity is staffed with about 23 staff, and we also have law enforcement officers who are seconded from various agencies, including the DCI. We also take part in awareness creation and capacity building in various forums, capability development of our personnel through continuous trainings. We also have established various local and global partners and other engagement mechanisms. With regard to our processes, the center operates on a 24-hour basis, and also it's supported through the different laws, regulations, and cybersecurity strategy. And we've also been in the process of developing various standards for the industry, as well as standard operating procedures. In terms of the technology, we have various monitoring tools that we've deployed in what is known as network early warning systems, where we share cyber threat information with our stakeholders on a daily basis, and various other analysis tools, including the Digital Forensic Lab that has been instrumental in the resolution of various cybercrimes in Kenya. So in terms of the functions, this is an overview of the functions that that are charged to the National Cybersecurity Center. It's a snapshot, the first image. So we take part in cyber incident coordination on a 24-hour basis, including the weekends. Also, we are engaged in international cooperation and collaboration with various entities, both locally and internationally. Also, monitoring and analysis of cyber threat activities through our network early warning system. Also, the development and management of the national public key infrastructure, which is a system for the distribution and creation and distribution of digital certificates. Currently, there are about 4 entities that are both licensed and accredited to roll out digital certification services in the country. Also, we take part in research and innovation, since this is an area that is quite dynamic, so there's need to keep yourself updated. We advise both the public sector and private sector on cyber threats, and also take part in different programs on capacity development and awareness. And all this is geared towards having cybersecurity as a service at the national level and industry level. So in terms of the partnerships and stakeholders that we engage with, we have established various engagements with and partnerships with entities, both locally and globally, as I mentioned earlier. Closer home, we have the NC4, which is the National Computer and Cybercrimes Coordination Committee, and CA is a member of the NC4. We also collaborate with the different sectorial SATs, such as the Kenya Bankers Association and the Central Bank. We also work with the ICT Authority as an agency that is coordinating response of cyber threats within the public sector. We have the Technology Service Providers of Kenya. Globally, the Forum for Incident Response and Security Teams, the ITU, etc. Moving on, as you all know, October is internationally recognized as Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and there are different activities that we're engaged with in terms of awareness creation and capacity building. So we've been running a program known as the October Cybersecurity Awareness Month for the past 4 years. And what we do is that we have been engaging different universities to train the students, taking them through a boot camp and hackathons. And with regard to the boot camp, we've been able to reach out to over 6,000 university students who took part in the boot camp. So there are various stages of the boot camp where they enroll into an online class, and they're taken through various stages, so the best students are selected to take part in the national finals. We also use the same mechanism to conduct hackathons where the students are taken through different capture the flag and such kind of tests. Also, we conduct different trainings for stakeholders, specifically the critical information infrastructure sector. We also have an annual National Public Key Infrastructure Forum that is geared towards creating synergies within the digital certification and digital trust services sector. Also, the Child Loan and Protection Forum, Child Loan Protection Program is a program that is steered by Communications Authority in terms of ensuring that as the learners use the ICTs, that they are aware of the risks and that they can use those devices in a secure manner. So just to talk about the capacity building that we conduct for the industry, looking at some 3 recent trainings that we conducted. Last year, around December, we conducted an incident response and crisis management and digital forensics training. It was a 2-week training, and we were able to train 65 trainees from diverse sectors. More recently, in March, we conducted a cyber threat intelligence training for 30 people, specifically the critical information infrastructure sector. And just recently, a month ago, we conducted a cloud computing security training that involved 70 trainees, also from diverse sectors. So as I close, I just wish to talk about what we are thinking of in terms of strategic interventions. The focus will remain on the people, processes, and technology as part of the cybersecurity value chain. So we're looking to enhance the capacity, of the numbers and the skills of the staff, because as a cybersecurity operations center for the ICT and the telecommunications center, we are supporting a large industry, so there is need to enhance those numbers and the skills. Also, we're looking to enhance the technology by getting better systems. Also, continuing with the national capacity development, the trainings and awareness programs, and also in terms of the finances, based on the additional mandate that the national KSAT was given to basically enhance the financial component and also do much more in terms of research and innovation, thinking of areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, etc. So this is, we are looking to have a sustainable model that will also be a revenue generating model. And finally, this is the way in which you can report cyber incidents, you can log on to our portal, kesat.go.ke, make a report, or you can call any of the hotlines that are manned on a 24-hour basis. Also, we have presence on different social media platforms. You can report an incident or provide any information that you think is good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis. Let's clap for Francis. We're going to have 10 minutes Q&A to Francis. And I have the first question. Are you monitoring our lines, mobile lines? Do you listen to our conversations? Don't answer from here. I would like Francis to answer. Anyone with a question? Yeah, we have one person there. Another, one more question? Or concern? Yeah, we have one. Okay. Yeah, and then here. Yes, let's begin with you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My question to Francis Sitati is, in our organization, Kengen, you've installed the network early warning tools, the honeypot. But for over time, for us, it's a black box because we see the notifications every day, but we never get to know how to resolve some of them because we've never been trained on the same, and I'm surprised there's been several knowledge transfers, so who are the targets?
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Francis, 2 questions.
Okay, let me start with the last question because it's the easiest. So Daniel, what we do is that we reach out to the universities. We have a forum where we reach out to the universities, the VCs and the deans of ICT. So what we do is that we open up a portal where the students can register. Then first of all, you go through a 2-week program for the boot camp and the hackathon. Then the best students are selected to progress. So we go usually through the university. Actually, last year, the winners of... Are you from UN? Yeah. Actually, the winners of the boot camp and hackathon last year were from the University of Nairobi. Yeah. So that's... keep your ears on the ground. The question on Kengen, I'm aware that there's been several requests for training, and we've conducted trainings in the past, but I don't know whether, of course, there's need to continuously have that knowledge transfer. So it's something that I've taken note and will be getting back to you. But I'm aware of the request for training. Yeah. Benjamin, about monitoring of lines, we do not monitor lines. Our work is just to create an environment where the industry can, can flourish or can thrive. So the work of monitoring lines is not our work. Yeah, I think it's as simple as that.
Thank you, Francis. Okay, it's time for lunch. We have 1 hour for lunch. We should be back here slightly after 2:05. Thank you.